Hey guys, Bryce here. We're going to be talking about the Gospel Topics essays on the LDS.org website. I'm going to show you how to find them, what they are, and whether or not you should read them. So let's get into it. They started coming out around 2014. It's 2020 on several different topics, and I'll show you the different topics that they're on, but it's controversial topics, mainly regarding church history. Items and how the church came to be. They have been very startling for many members, leading them to read other things like the CES letter from my wife, articles that describe the issues with the history of the LDS Church. How you can find these gospel topic essays? A couple ways. One of them is just through the search right here. You can click search and type in gospel topics. Essays right there, and that is where you're going to find them. Interestingly enough, if you don't know what they're called, the Gospel Topics essays, because that could be talking about some church doctrine or something. It's not really specific about what it actually is. Another way to find it, we'll go to the libraries, Gospel Library. And then, once we're in here, topics. So that's where it is. It's a little bit generalized, but you can find it if you know what you're looking for. And it's even buried even further in here. So then there's gospel topics, but then there's the gospel topics essays, and that's where you're going to find these 11. And it's changed. There's been 14, there's been 12. I'm seeing 11 right now. So maybe they've combined a few or removed a few. I'm not sure. I'd have to look into that a little bit more. So these Gospel Topics essays, here's a couple of the titles, and I'll just read through them so that you kind of know the gist. Are Mormons Christian? Becoming Like God. Book of Mormon translation, how the Book of Mormon was translated. Many members don't know the real way that it was translated. The First Vision accounts, yes, with an S. The start of this whole church started in 1820, and it's a story that a lot of missionaries relay to many people. I memorized it in Spanish, Vi una columna de luz más brillante que el sol, or I saw a pillar of light which descended upon me above the brightness of the sun. And there's different versions, some of which I won't get into that. I'll save that for the video. But several different things. We got priesthood, temple, and women. Joseph Smith teachings, Mother in Heaven, peace and violence in the 19th century, Latter-day Saints, plural marriage, which is a big one, and polyandry, which I don't know if they discuss in that one. I'd have to look again. Race in the priesthood, which is a hot topic for 2020, and translation and historicity of the Book of Abraham, which for me, that one was kind of the largest pillar. If I had to choose one that was very startling to me, it was the Book of Abraham and the translation of the Book of Abraham, which is from Egyptian papyrus that Joseph purchased. So these essays, let's go into one of them, and I'll just kind of show you a little bit of what they're like. We'll just go into this one, for example, Book of Abraham. And it comes in here, there's not a whole lot of preface as to like a date when it was created. Like this actual document. At the bottom, it says the church acknowledges the contribution of scholars to the historical content presented in this article. Their work is used with permission. So, an interesting statement there. Usually, something that comes from the church, it has some signatures at the bottom with church in support of whatever it is inside of this, but they're kind of passing the buck a little bit to scholars that have written this, not leaders of the church, and maybe not even members of the church who are writing these articles or essays. Now that we've kind of passed into what they are, I'm going to talk to you a little bit about what was my experience, what I thought, and then a little bit about whether or not you should read it. For me, I didn't know they existed. As a Mormon, These are not widespread talked about, at least a year ago they weren't. If you knew about them, you didn't really tell anybody about them. And if you knew about them, you probably would have thought they were some sort of anti-Mormon documents, not documents put on the church website. These essays came forward so that the youth, the younger generations of the church who are leaving the church in droves, the smartest and the brightest, it's over these issues. And so the church, to get ahead of this, started to write essays describing maybe possible solutions as to why the history happened the way it did. So that's what that is. And that was my experience. I didn't really know about them. When I found out about them, I talked to people that were close around me and asked them if they knew about them. And it was about 50-50 said no, and the other 50 said yes, but I haven't read them because I'm good. My testimony's solid. I don't need to go into that stuff. The history was something of their time, and there's a lot of things that we say to ourselves as Mormons to kind of avoid having to ask real deep questions. And so, should you read any of these gospel topic essays? That's the question. To answer that question, I'm going to refer to the red pill, blue pill scenario. I'll pull up an image for you right here. Okay, so it says, you take the blue pill, the story ends. You wake up in your bed and believe whatever you want to believe. You take the red pill, you stay in Wonderland, and I show you how deep the rabbit hole goes. Morpheus. So this is from the film Matrix. Morpheus is presenting this idea to Neo, who is the main character, who is in a simulation. And he's given the chance to take the red pill, which is you're going to learn a bunch of things, and it's either going to be good or bad, but regardless, you're going to learn it. Or you take the blue pill, and you kind of forget that we met, and you'll just wake up tomorrow, and things will go on just like normal. So that's an interesting proposition, because some truth can be hard. And in these gospel topic essays, a lot of truths are agreed upon on both sides. People that want the truth told about the church history, and the church itself knowing that there is a lot of truth that they need to have a solid middle ground on. So to answer that question of should you read the gospel topic essays on LDS.org or should you not, it's up to you, completely up to you. And I respect that decision. I am just here to open up the conversation for people to be able to make decisions for themselves. For me, it was a very difficult decision after reading a lot of this content and information. And I'm supportive of people that want to stay in the church, supportive of people who would rather transition out of the church, or progressive Mormons that would rather stay in the church but have a differing belief about what is and isn't true about church history and about current issues. So I hope that's helpful for you. Smash the like button for this so that YouTube knows that I'm here making these videos and that other people can benefit from them. Please, in the comments, any questions, any clarification, or any other items that you would like me to do another video on. It's been awesome to be here, and have a wonderful day.